Welcome to Ground Zero Radio. This is Michaela Compton, and you are in for a treat tonight. Mike Karen is in the studio with me, of course.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How the heck are you?
I'm doing fantastic now that I'm sitting here with some friends.
Yeah, well, we're ready to rock.
We are, definitely. We are going to have Warren Sellers on the show tonight, and he's going to take us on a journey for sure. So, Mike, tell us what's in the news.
Well, today, May 22nd, is, believe it or not, is National Buy a Musical Instrument Day, and it's also National Craft Distillery Day. So I did a little bit of homework over the weekend, and let's just say I haven't bought a musical instrument, but it'd be a great day for somebody to go out there and get one. You still got plenty of time, and for all you want to be musicians, all it takes is a guitar, a drum, a microphone, anything.
Triangle.
A triangle, yeah. A new pair of shoes with taps. I don't care.
There you go.
Okay, going way back in history, back 1958, Jerry Lee Lewis and his new bride Mira arrived at London's Heathrow Airport. The Brits weren't happy, for anybody that knows the story. Mm-hmm. Apparently she was a little younger than he was, but you can look it up. I'm not going to talk about it today. Also, in 1967, the Monkees released Headquarters, their third album, but it was the first album that they were really given any creative control, and they did without any studio musicians, just themselves. That album went to #1 on the Billboard 200, which is pretty cool. They're more than just a TV show, guys. And then now here's some local events this week and next week also. Tonight and next Monday at the Wayfarer, we have our friend of the show, Chloe Gallardo.
Chloe.
And believe next week she's going to be with Random Parade also.
Sweet.
And another friend of the show, Cosette Smith's going to be at the Troubadour next Tuesday.
That's an awesome hookup, Cosette. Congratulations.
And a new friend of the show, Warren Sellers, and I guess Mike Digg will be at the Den Cafe Santa Ana on the 9th. Michael Ubaldini, who will be here in our second hour tonight, he's going to be doing the Outlaws of Folk series at Bogarts and Seal Beach on the 1st. Michael's also going to be opening for Judy Collins at the Coach House in San Juan on the 3rd. And then finally he's going to be performing at the Bob Dylan and Joan Baez tribute concert at the Cambria Center for the Arts in Cambria on the 4th. Big lineup for that show. You should go up there and check it out. This Saturday we got Matchbox 20 at 5 Points Amphitheater in Irvine. And then on the July 8th we got Michael Oliveri's band going to be doing a benefit concert for Jack's Feed the Need at Campus Jack's. They're going to be performing an entire album, so it'll be a great show.
The Mob, the
Michael Oliveri band. Notable birthdays today: Stephen Morrissey of the Smiths and Morrissey, and great composer Bernie Taupin from Elton John and bunch. He's written for all the greats back in the day. And then we got John Grimaldi from Argent. Also had a birthday. Now, a big shout out to kind of local boy Josh Freese. He was just named a couple days ago, being named the new drummer for the Foo Fighters. Josh has played with the Perfect Circle, Danny Elfman, Devo, Nine Inch Nails, Offspring, The Replacements, Sting, The Vandals, Weezer, Guns N' Roses, Paramore, Blink-182, Sublime with Rome, and it goes on and on and on. He's been local boy since his teenage days. He started playing at Disneyland.
Cool.
And then also he's got a younger brother, Jason, that's now touring with Green Day. So, hey, if Josh or Jason, both you guys want to come into town and say hi to us on a Monday night,
we'd love to have you.
Yeah, come on by.
The Brothers Show.
Yeah, there you go. So, again, great job. I'm glad you got the gig, and power to everybody out there. So that's the news for the day.
And you know what I read today on social media? Congratulations to Cosette Smith for making it as the top 10 finalist in the Tractor Supply up-and-coming artist competition. So I'll be keeping an eye on that to see where she lands. But congratulations on being in the top 10. She deserves to be there.
Absolutely.
She's awesome.
Yeah. The queen of wild, wild West Coast country.
That's it.
Wow, I got it out.
You got it. You got it. That's her genre. We learned about that when she was in the show, on the show a couple weeks ago. And we love when songwriters come in here and they have their own genre.
Well,
right? You don't need to fit into everybody else's box. You got your own unique box.
Am I on?
And Warren Sellers is on. He is here in the studio. How you doing, Warren?
I'm good. Glad to be here. Thank you very much. I didn't know if I was on at first. I was just going to chime into things, but we're bringing the mic in. Look out now.
We hear you now.
Wild Wild West. What was that again?
Wild Wild West Coast Country.
I dig that. I put a little record out a little while back, and it was called the West Coast Southern Boy.
Yes.
Just because I grew up here.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But, all things country music in the South, and Nashville's my second home, really. So, made sense.
Yeah,
Great.
perfect sense. Yeah, and I'm probably gonna be asking you about those Nashville connections.
Awesome.
Yes, and so let's kick off the show with Neil in East Nashville. Tell us about this song.
Well, I write out there a bunch. I've been going back and forth. I've been, just lucky enough and fortunate enough to be a staff songwriter for several companies out there, and so it's a great thing. They pay you to write songs, and you got to turn in a certain number and all that kind of stuff. So you got to get after it. And I went out there one spring, and it was perfect weather, and I did not want to go inside anywhere, so I just tooled around an area called East Nashville, which there was a time when that place was a dump. East Nashville was terrible, but it has come on, and it's really nice. And so I just started cruising around the little area that they call 5 Points. I walked past a 1960-something van, turned sideways, put up on a wooden deck. And the sign out front said, "I dream of weenie." That's interesting. There's a hot dog place.
Hot dogs?
Oh, okay.
Hot dog, yeah. So I did that, and then we walked around. I ran into an old friend in the form of some music. And that's what this song's about.
That's a great story. Here we go. Neil in East Nashville by Warren Sellers.
Funky little record shop on the hip side of town. Vibe a kind of throwback joint, had to take a look around. Found a bunch of old favorites, folk to classic rock, and songwriting singers. I let my fingers do the walking till they fell on the perfect pick. Neil Young's Harvest did the trick. And I can't tell you how it soothed my soul. From old man to that good old heart of gold. Music up, windows down, I sang along as I drove around. Back in town with my good friend Neil in East Nashville. Getting deep into guitar when that record came out. I'm talking about the vinyl now, still got it at the house. Well, I'm SoCal born and raised, I was a teen in the 70s. And that Cali country sound, well, it struck a chord with me in those days when I didn't have a care. Well, that first downbeat me right back there, and I can't tell you how it soothed my soul. From old man to that good old heart of gold. Music up, windows down, I sang along as I drove around. Back in time with my good friend Neil in East Nashville. I sang along as I drove around, back in time with my good friend Neil, feeling about as good as any guy could feel. Back in time with my good friend Neil in East Nashville. Oh, in East Nashville. Old man, take a look at my life. I'm a lot like you.
Warren Sellers.
That sounded familiar.
True story.
True story.
Real deal right there.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Do we need to shout out to Neil?
Don't we always?
Shout out to Neil in East Nashville.
Yeah. It was it's just the truth, man, and it felt right to me, and that record really did make a huge impact on my life. I mean, you let me play acoustic guitar in 1971-ish. I mean, my gosh, the stuff that came out is just heaven handed to you on a plate.
Right.
From James Taylor, all of us.
Right,
Man
right.
Alive,
Right. Morrison Hotel Los Angeles
There
on
you
his
go.
T-shirt.
My buddy took these original pictures of the Doors and original Morrison Hotel
Yeah.
picture and all that stuff.
Wow.
He took all
There's
the originals.
history.
He took
Oh.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash cover.
Serious. That's cool.
84 years old and sharp as a tack.
Wow.
Yeah, he's legendary, and he has a couple galleries, and this is Morrison Hotel galleries. He's got 3 of them, and they're just amazing.
Wow. I'll have to look him up.
Henry Diltz.
I'll look. Wow.
Legendary business, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Really good.
So how did you find your way out to Nashville? Was it just like a yearning in your heart, or was there a tie to
I'll tell you.
something else?
Yeah. I had a few bands way back in the day. We rehearsed a lot and played very little, that sort of a thing. And but I just got back to my writing that I loved, and just the stuff that I found out somewhere in the middle of that, I can't sing this rock. I love it. I love big rock and roll. I love Led Zeppelin. I love all of it, but I can't sing it. So I had to just go back to, what did I pick up the acoustic guitar in the first place, And it tied to all that. My grandfather bought me a hi-fi
Right.
back in the day, with the Kenwood and stuff and the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And 2 8-track tapes came with it. One was with a name I did not understand at all, called Conway Twitty. And the other one was a thing by Jerry Reed. And there was a song on that. I was 8 years old, I think, somewhere around there. But still it hit me. She got the gold mine, I got the shaft.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm 8 years old or whatever it was, and I went, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's stuck in your head.
It did, is the idea
Yeah.
of the twist and the craft and the thing and the learning. I went to school accidentally, kind of, sort of. So then I had
You
some bands.
accidentally went to school?
Yeah, I didn't know I was doing it.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was
you're
doing it, but I
learning.
was learning
Yeah.
and studying and stuff, and that turned into real school. In that, years later, I started winning these songwriting things, and one of them took me to Nashville for the finals, and then I got introduced to somebody who had Ed Ascap through a friend. I'm a BMI guy now, but through Ascap, and he listened to my music and went, "It's great. It's country music," and I went, "Oh."
Oh,
I hadn't really been listening.
Yeah.
I swear I hadn't. I mean, I knew the country that I knew, but it had all changed, and the parameters had just gotten wider and wider, and country was getting be a whole lot more what I was playing and stuff, and I wrote about faith and family and stuff and the weirdness that is me and everything in between, and my times I hit the target in life and the times that I missed it dramatically, and all that kind of stuff. So, and it turned out that's country music, and I started going back to the music that I loved, and Neil Young, Harvest, and the steel guitars, and I just, this has been cooking for a while, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but this has been coming for a while. So that turned into my first publishing deal. People paying me check to write songs. I was like, this is fantastic.
Wow.
Let's do more of that, shall we?
yes.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. I mean, just amazing. I remember that a buddy of mine he became my publisher, and he had a house out there, so I'd have a place to stay. And the Nelson boys were staying there, Matthew and Gunnar Nelson,
Yeah.
Ricky Nelson's sons. So we became friends. We wrote some songs together and stuff, And I remember sitting there with a guy whose name I couldn't begin to tell you, but he was in his dad's band, the Stone Canyon Band. And we sat up half the night in the studio that was in the basement downstairs talking about all the stories and when the Who opened up for him,
Right.
you know,
right.
all that stuff, you know, and I just realized, my gosh, this moves me, man. And now, cut to all these years later, I'm a mush mouth. I've read 55 books on the subject of 60s and 70s music. I've seen every interview known to man, and it just fed my stuff, you know, which we'll talk about the books. But, you know, and the Neil thing, you know, when I think about that music, when he was a new rich hippie, he went up Santa Cruz Mountain because Neil was a loner. So he was Laurel Canyon thing, then he moved to Topanga to get out there more,
Yeah.
you know, and then
Yeah.
that became the thing. So he's like, Santa Cruz Mountains, I'm going out to get a loan somewhere. And he bought this piece of property called Broken. I think he named it Broken Arrow. I'm not sure about that, but I've seen different stories about that. But the property came with a ranch foreman named Louis Avila. And they got to know each other. Louis was a loner, like Neil. And they would sit out there, and they would go out in the Jeep above the little lake out there, and they would talk and stuff. And he wrote a love song, kind of, not a love song, yeah, sort of, kind of. He loved the guy, but it connected to him. And he wrote a song, said, "Old man, I'm a lot like you." Louis Avila is the old man in Old Man.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's how it was born.
That's an awesome
know
story.
that.
And so when I started, that was the first one I read, I went, "Oh, that's fascinating.
Right.
There must be more stories."
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell them backwards and this kind of thing. So it lit a fire under me, man. But the songwriting wise, you know, I got some things recorded, and you know, it's a tough business. I've fallen off some big records on the day of recording. That's a fun phone call to get. Big records. But I've had a lot of songs recorded by the people, about 50. You know, but up and down. But my biggest hit's been a number 22 in Canada, you know, and had some stuff in Europe and stuff like that, you know. But I'm still swinging. It's hard. I know how to swing, and I write just about every single day for some portion of the day, and keep chasing. I've been through several different publishing deals since, with some bigger ones, some that would pay you enough to buy Skittles, but whatever keeps you in the game, man, you know. So I just keep on swinging.
Right. Well, and you found your place.
Yeah.
Obviously, years ago, you found your place. It found a place for you. There's so many people standing in line for half of what you've experienced. You know, so many people stand in line to be a staff writer,
Yeah.
or to even co-write with some of the phenomenal people you have co-written with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to show up a lot for a while, and working your craft. That's what I was going to get back to when I found out that they liked my stuff, and I went to school literally on country music, and because of the craft of it. There's a reason why so many rock stars end up in Nashville, and that's because there the song is still king. You know, I teach at these 2 songwriting expos every year, and they're pretty good sized things. And somebody asked me, what's the difference between L.A. and Nashville from a songwriting business thing? And it took me a second. I thought, I'll tell you. L.A. is a business town with hopefully good songs. Nashville's a song town with hopefully good business. You know, and they are driven by the song first and foremost.
Yeah.
Not in spite of the business. It's not that. And LA still has some amazing songs, but just as a general rule, there's stuff. You know, with my publishers, man, if you put a second verse that sounds like the first one, they'll slide that back across the table and go, "Did you want to take another run at that?" Because that sounded a whole lot like the first verse there, you know.
Yeah.
And it just challenges you, and you got to really dig deeper. So I have studied my craft, and it has made a big difference. And I've been around a while, you know.
You sure have. How about I Know a Guy?
Story.
Yeah. We're going
You
to
know
listen to
what?
that song next. Tell us about that song.
That's one of the ones that I don't. There's not a story other than that's not true. There are certain stories I can pull back from my life, but that wasn't so literal about a story. But what I knew was, you know, when you're trying to get an idea, when I teach these songwriting expos, just like right from the beginning, how's your idea from the beginning? How strong is this thing before you paint yourself into a corner that's it's not an uninteresting corner, I might add. You know, so I've just had that phrase forever. I know a guy, you know, that kind of thing. And I thought, well,
Yeah.
no, how could I turn that a little bit? I know a guy. Well, I want to use that phrase. I want to use it in a little bit of a different ways, but everybody will connect, and that's what's
All right.
the thing behind this.
I Know a Guy by Warren Sellers.
You know I hate to see you again, with tears rolling down your perfect skin. So let that broken in your broken heart point the way to a brand new start. And if you're wondering with who, well then, I know a guy who will treat you better. He ain't afraid to chase forever. And straight up, he's not the kind to lie. He lives and loves to make you smile. He's had your back for quite a while. So if you wanna give real love a try, I know a guy. I've heard you say that lovers should be friends, 'cause once they cross that line they can't pretend. You tell me that you've had enough of shallow men and halfway love, and you won't be settling for that again. Well then, I know a guy who will treat you better. He ain't afraid to chase forever. Straight up, he's not the kind to lie. He lives and loves to make you smile. He's had your back for quite a while. So if you wanna give real love a try, yeah, I know a guy. I know a guy who knows your every dream and secret, who shares your every silly inside joke, who might even write a song to tell you what he's feeling, 'cause he says it's time to let you know. Yeah, I know a guy. I know a guy is here already, heart and hand strong and steady. He's trying to read that look there in your eye. He truly believes and trusts in that you can see truth when he's looking at you. And if that sounds too good to let go by, well, I know a guy. Yeah, I know a guy.
Such a catchy melody.
Awesome.
Na 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 na.
Right?
Yeah, very
Oh, yeah.
catchy melody.
All the pieces, man. I come up with this little bit of a thing I've been kind of working on teaching called Hearts and Crafts. Not Arts and Crafts, but Hearts and Crafts, because they both have to be there. The heart's got to be there, but it's got to be crafted
Sure,
well.
sure.
And we've all heard a song that we thought, that's crafted really clever, but doesn't make me feel much.
Yeah,
So, and I want both on the page. And that was the thing. I thought, what if he's the guy singing to her? And he's like, I know a guy, and he'd find out,
This guy right
it's
here
me.
talking to you.
It's
Yeah.
me. Don't
Yep.
blow this. Don't blow this, you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
And who hasn't been, to some degree, in that situation, you know, some point in their life, and especially when somebody just keeps dating the wrong people, kind of a thing. So, you know,
Maybe we should change the subject.
where's the couch? Lay down. Tell me what you're feeling.
West Coast Southern Boy.
Now that goes back. So the only one that's on that we think we're dealing with is Neil and Niece Nashville.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see it right there. Awesome. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that expo that you teach at.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the name of it?
Durango Songwriters Expo.
When does it happen?
Every February/March, pretty much February, in Ventura, and then every October in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh,
And I just got back from it a couple of days ago because in the May they have the Film and TV Sync one,
Right.
which is all these film and TV music supervisors come out, and everybody brings their songs
Wow.
to them, and they try to, and it's a different event than the other events. The ones that I work at and critique and teach and stuff, maybe a couple hundred people. This might have 40. But it's very focused. You get 4 music supervisors, and they're in the know. These people make decisions
Yeah.
that get on shows, and you get 8 minutes. It's that particular one's more costly, but you get 8 minutes to show your stuff. You can play 16 bits of this. You can play 2 songs for 4 minutes each. You could whatever and they come and they sell themselves. They come with swag bags. The people that bring their swag. It's a whole thing.
Yes.
And a lot of these people that are there have had a lot of stuff, you know, done very, very well. You know, I just hanging with my buddy up there, and he's had a lot of things, but he's including a lot of children's things. He wrote the Paw Patrol theme song of all things. I mean, you know, and which has done very well for him. So several other things that, you know, so they've had a lot of stuff already. So that kind of parlays them into more, and it's a different way of writing a song. It really, really is, because it's a whole different box of crayons, you know.
Yes.
You can write one for a minute and 20 seconds, just go, I'm going to say this one thing, just blah, 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 blah. That's all I'm saying in the whole song.
Yeah,
because they don't need your story. They have a story. They're selling a product, whatever. So
Yeah.
it's a different animal. But yeah, so that happened both, Ventura here, Colorado there. It really did start in Durango, Colorado all those years ago. And I've been going since the year 2000, I think, 2001 maybe.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is there a website or something for any songwriter that's interested in going?
If you Google Durango Songwriters, it's
Pop
probably
up.
DurangoSongwritersExpo.com, maybe something like that, but it's going to come up.
So it's the same name in either location.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay, cool. Do you happen to know Sean Jones in Ventura?
I know the name. I've certainly seen his stuff going around as far as he's playing here and there and stuff, but I don't know that I know him. I'd have to see his face.
You guys would hit it off. He's
Awesome.
excellent, skilled, seasoned songwriter as well. He lives in Ventura, but he also plays half the month, a couple weeks up in that area, and then a couple weeks down in Southern California area. Goes back and forth quite often. But you guys are. I think you guys would hit it off.
Oh, good. I have to connect some dots. I have a friend that's got a great venue in Solvang,
Yes.
and I know he's played there a bit. So
Yes. Exactly.
called
That's it.
Lost Chord Guitars.
That's it. Exactly. Yes.
Chris, the owner, we go back to about 1980.
I've been wanting to make it up there.
Oh, it's amazing. And Chris is an incredibly in-demand studio designer. So this room, when you're in there, is like you're being inside a studio. It's totally dead. He controls all the sound. I've never heard anything like it that sounds that good, even on stage, as it does in the house.
So it ain't it ain't your regular venue
No,
of
it's
somewhere
amazing.
down the
and
street.
they make
yeah.
their own wine. He sells boutique guitar stuff in there. He's been with Jeff Bridges for 25 years, just leading his band and stuff. So Jeff's got his own model guitar in there. They did with I forget the name of the big guitar. That's worse. But anyway, so they have several things going on that they kind of do all together.
Nice. Very nice.
Big plugs. But back to me.
Yes, Warren, of course.
I got to sign myself there for a second.
But
Awesome.
An expansion of who you know and who you're connected to in the songwriting world. Yeah. So love is not a word. It's not.
Apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah, and that's there again. It's like, of course it is. Yes, it is. It is a word unless you explain it well, and I attempted to explain it well.
You did that, sir. Love is not a word. By Warren Sellers.
I said, hey Johnny, I'll take one more. And then I noticed he poured me a real small pour. He said, I know these last few weeks have been rough, but I've been counting and you've had enough. It's time for you to get up out of here. You say you love her, well, you need to make that clear. Love is not a word. Love is not a line. Love is not a get out of jail free card. Every time you didn't keep a promise, you didn't keep a date. It's time to get honest before it gets too late. Our love don't live until she gives as good as she gives. And you know she deserves more than what she's heard. 'Cause love is not a word. He said, trust me man, I've been behind that wheel when I drove my lady's heart up over that hill. Oh, I told her I loved her, but she couldn't believe a bunch of talk that she couldn't see. Oh, I took her for granted, so take it from me and understand that love is not a word. Love is not a line. Love is not a get out of jail free card. Every time you didn't keep a promise, you didn't keep a date. It's time to get honest before it gets too late. Love don't live until until she gets as good as she gives. You know she deserves more than what she's heard. 'Cause love is not a word. As far as chances go, he said, I happen to know you got one more. 'Cause she called here fighting back tears. Now she's walking through the door. But hey, love is not a word. Love is not a line. Love is not a get out of jail free card. Every time you didn't keep a promise, you didn't keep a date. Oh, it's time to get honest before it gets too late. And love don't live until she gets as good as she gives. And you know she deserves more than what she's heard. 'Cause love is not a word. Yeah, love is not a word.
I really like the line, she deserves more than she's heard.
Heard.
Right,
Yeah,
heard.
yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the deal, right? So you got to see more. And you know what's funny, though, is I'm listening to this. I think I sent you a lot of sort of mid-tempo, and I have a lot of up-tempo, all kinds of stuff, but they're usually with other artists that I'm on their records and stuff, so it's kind of funny. I'm just listening to this going, boy, Warren, you're living a lot in that mid-range, but but whatever. I got to sing what feels good to me,
We did notice that there's a different mix of songs on your Reverb Nation page versus Spotify. And I guess that's being why?
Well, because
Co-writing,
Spotify, I'm not the artist. I am, but I'm not the artist that I'm pushing. I try to get on other people's records. So the Reverb Nation stuff you hear is me writing with a lot of different people, some of which have done very well.
Yes.
And so you're hearing their records or their demos or so it's a whole different animal. I try to get on other people's records. And I love to do my stuff and I love to tell my story, which, by the way, Campus Jacks has a songwriter night.
Yes.
So they've invited me to come play next Tuesday. So
Excellent.
So I played once before and they enjoyed it. So.
They loved you, and I think that's where I met you.
Yeah, is that right?
I think so. It must have
Could it
been.
be?
I don't know. Have you played there before?
No.
Where did I meet you then? I don't
I don't
know.
know where it'd be. So it was that ways back then, huh?
I met you some songwriter night somewhere.
My buddy
some
used to
event
put on
somewhere.
one at McCormick and Smith's. He used to do one over there. I don't know if that's where you're thinking about.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah. But anyways, okay. Well, Campus Jacks is a great venue to play at. I mean, just the, well, now that you've talked about Lost Court, the place up in Solvang.
Yeah.
But
But locally, it's a great
locally
venue.
there. Thank you.
It is a great venue.
Saved me. It
It
is
is a
very
great
nice.
venue.
It is. Yeah. It's they've put a lot of effort into bringing in quality musicians and songwriters. And they have the entire thing has been, the sound system is all QSC, and it's their QSC professional engineers that run it.
Yep.
And so they have put a lot of effort into really making sure that the musicians are represented well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true. And it's and they can use some support on those songwriter nights because, it's such an odd animal. Even LA doesn't have a ton of songwriter nights. As much as strange as that sounds, you can play up there oftentimes if you're 22 years old and you can get 30 people to come out to the West Side on a Tuesday night or something. But otherwise, it's kind of it's not that they call it pay to play, but you got to bring people in, or and I get that for them. But there's where my LA days, which are still going on all the time. But I come from a songwriting community that your next guest was a part of, in fact, and that was focused on songwriting. Maybe you were also a great singer, but it was a songwriter night, and my buddy used to run it, and it was amazing. The first night I ever went there, Spinal Tap was playing acoustically.
Oh.
He knew everybody, and it was just amazing.
Wow.
People, and I met all my people through there. That has become a lot of other people, but that was the beginning. But it was a songwriter thing. There's just not that many. There's very few down here, really.
Right.
And the people, if you gave it a chance, you'd love it. But it's not a cover band. It's not somewhere to go if you want to go talk, and there's plenty of places to do that. You know, you can go have drinks and bands are everywhere, and I love that too. That's fun, but this is a different night, you know.
It definitely is. Yes, yeah. Camus Jacks has been doing that over there. Kayla Kramer, give a shout out to my girls over there, and Golden Preciado on the as the engineer.
Yeah,
and they 2 to 3 times a month on Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
They bring in songwriters, quality songwriters. You won't be disappointed. So Warren Sellers is going to be there next Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Starts at 5.
I think.
Ish.
Yeah, I think 6 o'clock is the first set.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. So do you know what time you're going on?
Good question. She called me last time and said, we have a cancellation. Could you? So, and it was at the beginning of the night, which is a tough thing, you know. So it was me and a few people, and but people fill in as the night goes on. So they got me in a later slot.
Okay.
But it's not total.
Awesome.
So everybody just go for the whole show.
Just definitely go for the whole show.
Support the local
Yes.
music. That's what we're all about. Supporting local
Definitely,
music.
yeah. It's very important. I try to always teach that to my kids. You don't leave because your turn is over.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stay in support, because sometimes you're doing your thing last, and you would hope people would stay for your set. Equally.
Yeah.
So I got to do your part.
Truth.
Yeah. Well, damn.
How about that?
And there you are.
That is the title of the next song.
You want to play that one live?
Not just me. Oh, sure.
play it
Yes.
live? Let's do that.
Absolutely.
Because the recording's beautiful too. It's different. It's my co-writer did it, and can you hear any of this? Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
With the guitar
Sure
and
can.
balance.
Sure can.
Took my buddy Chris Gilbuta out in Nashville. He's done a lot of cool things, and including he produced the Meghan Trainor John Legend duet.
Oh.
I think sold about 6 million of those things.
Boy.
Yeah. And he's a seriously talented writer. And I went in and I got this idea, just called "Damn This Heart." It's like my mind's wrapping around it, but damn this heart, can't seem to let go and deal with it. So I put a little crib sheets down here in case I need to peek. But and he said, well, "Damn this mind," or "Damn this something," and so we wrote "Damn." Felt like any other Friday night, but there was something in the air alright, and I knew at the moment. I looked at my phone 'cause you called me, told me you were gonna be in town, wondering if I'm gonna be around. Well, I tried to say no, but the next thing I know, you were dancing real slow with your head on my shoulder. Damn this band, damn this song, damn this drink that's damn near gone for making me forget where my mind went, for making you and I make so much sense. Damn this heart for this whole mess. Damn this bar and damn that dress. I thought you and I were giving up, and then, oh no, here we go again, damn. Only you can light me up this way. Now that ain't ever been the issue, babe. Now we both know that this is foolish and risky, but I stopped caring the moment you kissed me. Damn this band, damn this song, damn this drink that's damn near gone for making me forget where my mind went, for making you and I make so much sense. Damn this heart for this whole mess. Damn this bar and damn that dress. I thought you and I were giving up, and then, oh no, here we go again, damn. Tell me what we're doing here. Never mind, let's just play along till it disappears. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Damn this band, damn this song, damn this drink that's damn near gone for making me forget where my mind went, for making you and I make so much sense. Oh, damn this heart for this whole mess. Damn this bar and damn that dress. I thought you and I were giving up, and then, Oh no, here we go again, go again. Oh no, here we go again, go again. Oh no, here we go again, go again. Damn.
Woohoo!
You know.
That song is so much fun.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah, so
guitar back there.
you do have a fully produced recording of that as well on streaming sources if anyone would like to check that out.
Yeah.
And how can we're not done, but let's punch in here. Let's plug it in. How can someone get a hold of you if they wanted to?
Well, let's see, how would that be best? You know, honestly, I swear, I guess it's part of my age, but I do a lot of Facebook stuff, and I know the youngins, it's only this and it's only that and all that kind of stuff, but I'm all over that Facebook thing. And between my books and my songwriting, every single Wednesday I have a thing called It's Warren, It's Wednesday, and I post a song. What I'm doing here, the story behind this song, or this made me think of this, or whatever, and I put one of the songs up, you know. So it's like that. I have an Instagram for my book, The Journey of a Song, and it's so funny. The reason there's an Instagram for my book is because I was writing with a really young songwriter, and she's really good at all that stuff, and I'm not. She goes, "Oh my gosh, you need a thing." So she went, blah, 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 and here we are. So I'm not incredibly techie savvy, but I can get done what I need to get done. But I'm learning.
Let's talk about those books. You have two of them out: The Journey of a Song, Part 1 and Part 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's
well,
talk about
you
that.
know, as I said earlier, I was just so fascinated when the stories are interesting, you know, and I still spend time in Laurel Canyon. I was there just the other day, and one of the books that I bought that years ago, unbeknownst to me, was feeding a book idea. It was a book called Laurel Canyon, and they sell it in the Canyon Country Store, and that country store has been there since the day, right, and it's still there, and 6 years later they sell two books there, Laurel Canyon and my book sits next to it on the counter.
Oh, that's awesome.
And when I read the stories of Laurel Canyon, and I know where Joni's house is, she doesn't live there anymore, but it's still there, and she rents it out, and it's still the same color it was when Henry took the picture of her leaning out that window.
Yeah.
And so I've gone up and stood right in front of the house and breathed in deeply, thought, my gosh, the history. And Frank Zappa's house on the corner, and just all that kind of stuff. So after a while, I was reading all these books and listening to all these interviews, and I went, I know a lot of song origins. I don't know that I meant to, but I do. I know why that song became that song, you know, and so I started telling my friends, and I thought, I need an angle. I don't even chase a song unless I got an angle on it that's interesting. Because if I don't, that celeb down the street can do it, you know. So with the books, I went, what if I tell it backwards? So that the title of each one isn't going to tell you anything. It's sneaky. After you read it, you go, oh, I see the title. Okay, I got you.
I see what you did.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know, and you know, the first thing I ever wrote in the first book was called The Vase. And it really was a story where this singer-songwriter and her boyfriend were at Arts Deli on Ventura in Studio City. It's still there. Having had breakfast, they get out, they walk back to their car, and what they called a fairly cold morning we get them every once in a while in Southern California, right? Drizzly, gray. Go past an antique store. She sees a vase in the window, and he goes, "Get it? You never get yourself anything." And they both have means at this point, you know. So she buys it, and they get in their car. They go up over Laurel Canyon, over Mulholland Drive, down to Lookout Mountain. They pulled in the cabin that they both shared together. When they walked in the front door, Graham Nash, said to her, "Joni Mitchell, I'll tell you what. I'll light a fire, and you put the flowers in the vase that you brought today."
Aww.
And that is exactly how that song was born.
Wow.
So that's the first song I wrote in the first story of the song I wrote in the first book. It's just called The Vase, and in his case, The Vase. And so I did that, and I did all the ones I thought were interesting. There's 29 stories in here. It's a small book. And somebody says, why 29? And I said, 30 would have been too much.
Don't want to go over the edge.
No, let's not. I mean, please.
Keep them wanting more.
We have boundaries. That's it. Yeah, wanting, or leave them wanting, not wanting to leave. That's my whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
And then years later, I was hoping to do it much sooner. I just had more stories, and so I came out with number 2, and it's a little tiny bit bigger book. So growth, man. And but there's just great stories in here too. You know, when you find out one's called Lemons to Lemonade. You find out how this young guy and his girlfriend is staying in the Caribbean, and they thought they were partying all night, and it's warm and it's great, and you're young, and let's just sleep on the beach. They missed the last boat going back to the main island. Mm-hmm. Sleep on the beach. They woke up being assaulted horribly.
Oh my gosh.
Horribly. And so, during his recovery, he was home writing music and thinking about all this kind of stuff. And from that event, he thought, this was supposed to be, instead of what it was, this should have been, we were dancing in the moonlight, everybody. He wrote that out of that experience.
Wow.
So, man, that stuff just moves me. And if you tell them right, they're interesting. It's just like a good song if you kind of wrap it up right and come at the right angle and, word it carefully and let it out a little at a time.
Yeah.
I love the history of music and of the songs. And
yeah.
I'm glad you took the time to put it all together.
Well, thank you, man. I think you'll dig these, and it's just it's a really fun ride, and I've got I've become some friends with some known folks through it, which has been a really fun thing, and I've got some great pictures. I saw a picture of I don't know John Oates, but I saw a picture of Hall & Oates. I saw a picture of John reading my book, and so there's a bunch of people that dig it, and Pamela DeBar, she sent me a note. I got her recommendation in the second book, and she's the world's most famous groupie, right?
Yeah,
Her stories are legendary. Her 2 books are worth it for sure. So, just trying to connect the dot everywhere I know how to connect it, and it is the passion of my life as far as my work is concerned. And you talk about labor of love. That phrase has never been more aptly used when I talk about my songs and those 2 books thus far. So, and I may do another 60s and 70s. I don't know, but because there's more stories,
Sure.
And but I'm doing an 80s one right now, and it's just so interesting when you find the good stories. And like I was saying earlier, when I read and somebody goes, "We were all drunk in the studio," I go, "Yeah, okay, that's not a great story. I'm sure it was true, but I'm talking about somebody said something in the first book. I think it's called Billy Said It was the it was. Well, I'll kind of let the cat out of the bag. It was Billy Preston at a party, and he told somebody, Stephen Stills was standing right behind him. He told somebody, you can't be with the one you love. Love the one you're with. And Stephen goes, I'm sorry, what did you just say? Can I have that? He goes, yeah. It became a gigantic hit on his solo record.
Yes.
That was just a moment.
Wow.
But Stephen's one of those people that, he listens and he finds the moments, and he's the one that heard Joni's Woodstock. He's the one that heard her do it and said, can we have that? Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, can we do that? Because I know what to do with that. And there's both versions are beautiful, but they are incredibly different.
Yeah.
Joni's and CSNY, So it lights me up, man. I've just been lighting up people for a long time, and I'm just trying to connect to it with everybody,
So interesting. I can't wait to read both of them.
Awesome.
The Journey of a Song, Part 1 and 2. So if someone wanted to get their hands on your books, I know they're available on Amazon, but can they also get them directly from you?
That would be awesome, yeah. Find me through Facebook and warrensellers.com. The first book is connected to that. Here comes my techie side that I have to get the second book now connected to that, which means I'm going to hire somebody I know to go, can you do something with this? So I have other gifts. I really do. It's just not in that frame right there,
I hear you.
I chase what I know how to do.
Right.
So, but yeah,
you do it.
but Facebook, message me there and stuff. I'm all over it. And yeah, when you get it from me, obviously it's a good thing for me, and you get a signed copy that way.
Yeah.
But feel free to buy 1,000 off of Amazon and and go back and leave me a good report if you dig it,
Yes,
And
definitely.
you will do.
The only thing that anybody's ever said, even remotely negative, was a 4 out of 5 stars. Everything has always been really 5. And they said, it's too short. And I went, well, if that's the problem, I'll take that
I'll
problem.
take that problem.
Any day of the week.
Right.
So.
And then the second book comes out a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's a
So,
little, yeah.
yeah.
I had time to prepare. I'll show you something else. This book's it sells in Book Soup on Sunset, that kind of stuff, just a legendary bookstore and that kind of thing. But you see the spine?
Yes.
Nothing. That's
Right.
because when I did a first book, I didn't know what I was doing, and so I worked with some people. But it has to be 100 pages because it's got to be big enough. So on the
put
second
font.
one, I said we might, because sometimes I've gone into bookstores and there are 3 of these sitting side by side, and they look like 4 cocktail napkins. It's like going, okay, no one's going to buy that. So that's the whole thing. So in the second time, I went, okay, now, so we've got to figure this out. And the people I worked with, they said it needs to be 100 pages, like 96. I said, blank pages don't scare me. So
Yeah, there you go.
insert it. I had just read Neil's book, and he had all kinds of. It's Neil Young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And so I went, if Neil can do it, come on.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny. A small little detail there. actually makes a difference.
Makes a big difference,
Right.
yeah. So
Something on the spine.
And I'm not knocking down Oprah's list or anything yet or anything, but it's in a few stores. I did that just by getting out and hustling, and hey, it's doing okay for a guy out there going, hey, I got a book, But I know, especially there's certain age groups somewhere in I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm 61. Somewhere in that general age group, within 20 years or something, that's a big group of people that are very hard to buy for, very hard. And this, I guarantee that they would love that book. So that's been a fun thing, and so I got more to do.
Congratulations on those two.
Thank you very much.
I'll keep my eyes and ears open for the possible third.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to play another live song?
Sure. Okay, I'm gonna do this one, even though it's slow. I hope that's okay. Five. Capos, man, they make one string go sharp. Same demon that took my hair. So I wanted to write a country as dirt song. I write everything. You might be surprised at some of the pop stuff I have and stuff. It depends on who I'm in the room with. They have a whole set of crayons that they have and that I don't. So between the two of us, and sometimes I just want to write something country as dirt. And so I had this idea called Blue for a while. And I knew that I didn't want to say the word blue till you get to the hook of the song. That's what I knew.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to paint it instead of say it till we get there. And I thought, what's this about? And I began to craft. And it's the color of a heartbreak. It's the color of goodbye. It's keeping me awake. It's the color of her eyes. It's what I am tonight. It's where I want to be till I get my head right. I know just what I need. Play me a fiddle. I want to hear me a steel guitar coming out of an old jukebox full of old school records in a country bar, where there's a bartender old enough to bear the weight of a sad old story from a silly fool who's made a big mistake. Oh, don't worry, won't be down too long, it ain't my style. I just wanna be blue for a while. You know she was red hot when she drove out of sight. I said things that hurt a lot and gave her the green light. So I'm drinking this whiskey down, and as it sinks in for real, I want a mournful sound that matches the way I feel. So play me a fiddle. I wanna hear me a steel guitar coming out of an old jukebox full of old school records in a country bar, where there's a bartender old enough to bear the weight of a sad old story from a silly fool who's made a big mistake. Oh, don't worry, won't be down too long, it ain't my style. I just wanna be blue for a while. Fiddle. There was one here. Steel guitar. Play me a fiddle. I wanna hear me a steel guitar. I was sitting in a place called Everly on Sunset Boulevard after a day of writing, and I was sitting next to this older gentleman than me, and he was laying this story out to this young bartender that was heavy. And the bartender couldn't have been more than 25. And I just thought, dude, this guy hasn't lived near enough to tell you anything that you need to know about what you just laid on him, And that took me here, and I just thought, well, there's a bartender old enough to bear the weight of a sad old story from a silly fool who's made a big mistake. Oh, don't worry, Won't be down too long, it ain't my style. Yeah, don't worry. Won't be down too long, it ain't my style. Don't worry. Won't be down too long, it ain't my style. I just wanna be blue for a while.
All right.
Beautiful song.
Thank you very
Beautiful
much.
song. Even though you wanted to be blue for a while. No, but very beautifully written.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's well.
Well painted.
Thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
thank you.
Well,
yes,
sometimes the best way to go
yes.
there, I mean, you write it when you feel it, I think, but I think my favorite way to write a sad song is not to be sad, just to be able to, because everybody can reach back into that well.
Yeah.
And I don't know what, we love sad songs, and I think it's because it connects, as sad as it is, it connects so much deeper even than when everything's perfect. It's just, it's a deep well it hits, in all kinds of places and stuff. So, I love writing sad songs, but I write all kinds of stuff and a lot of, tempo fun and kooky songs too, but it just depends on what's happening that day, But I was proud of that one, and it's been recorded by a couple of young artists, and neither one of them has done anything with him.
Aw.
And I was telling somebody, this is the truth, I was telling somebody, one of them did this thing, and I heard there was a video supposed to be shot and stuff. Never saw that at all. But the dude did go to jail right after, and I thought, well, son, that's country right there. Wow.
Maybe you didn't want him to really have
George
hit
Jones
that
did or
up.
something. I don't know what's happening there. But so we'll see. People seem to dig it, and it's been people have loved that song all the way around. So I think it'll find its home at some point, hopefully. So
I admire the quality that you have of taking a potentially sad, song or lyrics idea, the whole concept of being blue, like we all have been.
Yeah.
But you, the way you've done it in a positive, you've done that in a positive way. I'd really admire that
thank
skill.
you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So often there are songs that are just heavy, and that's needed as well.
Times right,
we
times.
need that as well.
Sure.
But when you can, you gave that song an uplifting feeling
Oh, that's
because
nice.
you did it so gently. Maybe that's why, because you did it so gently.
Well, I appreciate that. And, when you get the craft of it all, I had a whole second verse written, and I felt like I was staring at it on my Word docs, and I was just going, it's very clever. It's a little too clever for me. So, when you eat something you want sweet, but it's too,
Yeah.
So I went back and I thought, I've already said blue. That cat's out of the bag. So now what? So, she was red hot when she drove out of sight. I said things that hurt a lot and gave her the green light. And I got that.
Other colors.
That felt like heart
that.
and craft.
Yes.
So, so I've got 10 Word docs up on my computer now, and a million little pieces of paper, bits and pieces written stuff, but 10 docs up right now of songs that I'm standing there and scratching the only hair on my face because my, just stroking the beard, just going, what am I trying to say here? And just, sometimes it's just chiseling, whatever, but it's got to feel right for me,
Right.
So, and I write with a ton of other people. I'll be writing with someone tomorrow and Friday, in fact, so, via Zoom. I've written 180 songs during the pandemic.
Oh,
Over Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people even became more comfortable with that whole writing from different states, different countries, even
yeah.
using
Recording,
Zoom.
yeah.
I've had all that. Somebody in Nashville,
Yeah.
someone in New York, someone,
Yeah.
at the same time. And it's been okay for me. I just, as long as I'm getting in the room with people that I really want to be in the room with first and foremost, because they bring something, and we all trust each other. And, even from a standpoint of some very successful writers and all that kind of stuff. And my friends have written about every country hit, and other things, so that's going to feed my 80s book. My friends have written some of those 80s hits, and so that's going to be fun stories. And a friend of mine wrote Wind Beneath My Wings, of all things.
Oh,
Can you imagine? That'll take care of you.
there's going to be a
Yeah.
part 3. There's going to be
There
the
has
Journey
to
of a
be.
Song part 3.
Well, yeah, there's it's the 80s book. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I may do another 60s and 70s. I don't know, man. Whatever's
Yeah.
feeling good, I'm just chasing it. But
we'll just make sure they're 100. pages or more. So
That's
we
the
can
thing.
You have the
find them.
spine.
Bigger
Yeah.
spine every time. And I'd love to finish up whatever that means with my stories behind my songs.
There you go.
Well, will anybody even look at CDs at that time? I don't know. I have to tell you this really quick. I've been around a while, I know some people, and I've been able to sit in labels in Nashville and pitch. It's in decent levels. And I came from the cassette days, where you mailed a cassette to Nashville, waited 6 days, and then call them on the phone and see did it show up. I remember the first download I had when they did a demo of my song, Full Nashville Band, years and years and years ago, and the phone dial-in thing. Took me 17 minutes to download that song. 17 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
I kept walking back in my office going,
Is it done?
nope, still not. Anyway.
Well, Warren Sellers, please come back again.
I would love to.
And thank you for being here tonight to share your songs, your stories, and the stories within your books.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Yes, absolutely. We need to do a station ID.
Okay.
And Warren Sellers, everyone,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming in.
Right on.
Hey, 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 you were listening to GZR Ground Zero Radio here on KOCI 101.5 LPFM in Newport Beach, Costa Mesa. In the second hour here, we have Michael Ubaldini coming into the studio to share his original songs with us, and that is going to be a blast. While we're waiting for things to load in with him, let's check out The Rattle by Warren Sellers.
When they show you their cards, believe what you see. That's who they are, that's who they're gonna be. A snake in the grass will stay just out of sight. When you walk past, it sure as hell gonna bite. Some people are poison, they surely got no soul. The life for a living, and every inch given will be taken till they take control. Your best bet when you cross that ground is to ride up high in the saddle. Walk with eyes wide open and listen for the rattle. The rattle. They will play with the truth as the games begin. They'll come on real smooth, and then they'll shed that skin. Ain't no stopping till their bellies are fed. You're gonna fight that fight, you better cut off that head. Cause some people are poison, they surely got no soul. The life for a living, and every inch given will be taken till they take control. Your best bet when you cross that ground is to ride up high in the saddle. Walk with eyes wide open and listen for the rattle. They surely got no soul. The life for a living, and every inch given will be taken till they take control. Your best bet when you cross that ground is to ride up